Hello students, this is SriRam Shastri. I once again welcome you back to my new video session. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about the structure of ovary in female reproductive system. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the ovary, and you are seeing here the structure of the ovary. I will explain one by one the parts of this. So first you see the diagram over this. Okay. So externally it is covered with the layer that is the tunica albuginea, that is a connective tissue. Then you have germinal epithelium. Germinal epithelium is a type of cuboidal epithelium which undergoes meiosis, meiotic division, that is reductional division. That means these are the only type of cells which undergo division in a reductional way, where the chromosome number reduces to half and 4 haploid cells are formed at the end of the meiotic cycle. So one diploid cell divides into 4 haploid cells. Out of these 4, 3 of them are called as polar bodies in female. Only one will mature into a ovum. Clear? So the maturation and the meiotic division takes place inside the ball of cells or a group of cells. Inside this group of cells, these are called as follicles. Okay, so primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle and Graafian follicle are also called as mature follicle. So this is a primary follicle, okay, then secondary, then tertiary, and then maturation phase, and then the mature follicle. This is a mature follicle. Mature follicle is called as Graafian follicle. Okay, so inside these follicles itself, the development of ovum takes place by the division called meiotic division or oogenesis. Okay, so here one more point I would like to add. At the time of birth in ovaries, generally 40,000 to 60,000 primary follicles are there. So in the whole lifespan after the onset of puberty, in each menstrual cycle, approximately one ovum is released alternately from the ovaries. Okay, so in the total lifespan, around 400 ovum are released in the menstrual cycle. So what is menstrual cycle and what are the events that take place in that, what hormones regulate them? That's the next topic. We'll discuss about the menstrual cycle in the next video session. So we'll continue with the structure of ovary. After germinal epithelium, you find primary follicles, and the follicles develop into Graafian follicle. So if you talk about the Graafian follicle, there is a separate video to how to draw the diagram of a Graafian follicle, mature Graafian follicle. I have made a separate video for it. I have labeled the diagram and also told about the labelings there. Once again, I would like to put a information note on this also. Graafian follicle externally, if you talk about, it is covered with a connective tissue called as theca externa. First layer is theca externa, below that is theca interna, and then there is a bunch of cells, a group of cells. This is group of cells. This group of cells is called as membrana granulosa. These cells are called as granular cells or membrana granulosa cells. These granular cells are connected to the secondary oocyte. You can see this is secondary oocyte, not at mature ovum. Now this secondary oocyte is surrounded by a group of cells called as the corona radiata and a gelatinous layer called zona pellucida. Zona pellucida and corona radiata. Again, for structure of ovum, I have made a separate video for how to draw the structure of ovum, that you can refer it later. Then inside this, if you talk about the structure, the group of cells which connects this, the membrana granulosa cells that connect the developing ovum, which is called as cumulus oophorus. This region is called as cumulus oophorus. Now there is a cavity. This cavity is called as antrum. Now this antrum is filled with a liquid called as liquor folliculi. This antrum is filled with a fluid called liquor folliculi. Generally on 14th day, because of the effect of hormone called luteinizing hormone, the Graafian follicle ruptures and it releases the secondary oocyte, which later develops into a mature ovum during the process of fertilization inside the fallopian tube. Okay, so on 14th day of the menstrual cycle, generally ovum is not released. It is the secondary oocyte which later develops into ovum. Clear? So this ruptured remaining tissue of the Graafian follicle will convert into a mass of tissue which forms a temporary endocrine gland which secretes a very important hormone, and the gland is called as corpus luteum. Now this corpus luteum releases the most important hormone responsible for the pregnancy, which is also called as pregnancy hormone. The name of the hormone is progesterone. Progesterone is released from the corpus luteum. Corpus luteum will continue its secretion until there is implantation, or if the implantation has occurred and it continues as a pregnancy. But if there is no implantation, the ovum is not fertilized, then slowly it degenerates. On 28th day it degenerates completely and forms corpus albicans. Corpus albicans is the degenerated form of corpus luteum, which is non-functional. It does not release any hormone. Then it remains as a scar. The remaining tissue what you find here is the connective tissue, and there are blood vessels which connect to the ovary. This ligament which connects the ovary to the wall of uterus is called as the mesoovarium. So this is a brief discussion on structure of ovary. I hope you might have understood it very clearly. So in the next video session we'll continue with the structure of explanation for the structure of fallopian tube, structure of uterus, and the other internal reproductive structures of female reproductive system. For today we'll stop this video here itself. Thank you.